Good morning, everyone. This is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and it is Monday, the 18th of March. So we are surviving this year. Slowly but surely, we'll get through it. I am live reporting from my closet because we are trying to figure out a new temporary fix it for my office area because I guess making the new office, there were all sorts of construction-y doodaddies that were unexpected, so it's going to be a bigger project. So I am, uh, reporting live from my closet. Well, at least the closet background. So you get to see the lovely, I don't know if they call it press board or just all the shavings together as a background for right now. I do have backdrops, we're gonna get those up, but just not today because why not? Good morning, Leslie McGinnis from California, and Tom H. Thank you for becoming a member. And no worries, I forget that I'm not a member at so many places until I'm like, oh crap, I'm not a member. I need to join. Good morning, Squaw Bob and Jude and Georgina and Cynthia and Judge Maddie and Christine and Eris, thank you for doing all of your Modly Mod stuff and being an awesome person. Fraud It Wrangler and Slinky and Zach, I am deeply closeted. Particle board, there was the word that I was looking for. And DG1, good morning. Giggles, thank you so much for joining. And yes, I need to do a giant thank you video. We have, thank you, Squab Bob. Hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining. I did start a little early, but since you all were a bunch of people were over from Shizzy, I didn't want to make them wait. And I will be stopping this a little sooner than normal because I do have a doctor's appointment. So thank you. Good morning, Alice G. So, our first story today. Also, Fry is deeply unsettled by the room change, and I don't have my other camera set up. So, he is not going to be my furry co host today. So, sorry about the little misnomer. I'm glad you're but he is deeply unsettled by this, and he is staying under the bed, just not even going to Oh, good morning, Sharon West from New Hampshire. I have family in New Hampshire. So awesome. Our first story is wild photos taken or show spring break mayhem in Miami Beach as cops arrest more than 250 partiers. Look, y'all, I know I have some people in Florida. If you live in Miami Beach, I would think that during spring break you just leave because I could not deal with the shenanigans. This would be too much crazy for me in one place, and I would run away. Wild photos show chaos of spring break revelry in Miami Beach as officials confirmed they have busted over 250 partygoers despite dramatic preemptive crackdowns by the city, including a midnight curfew implemented over the weekend. Hotspots for spring breakers implemented a curfew that began at 11:59 p.m. and continues until 6 a.m. from Friday through Monday. Curfews came in response to last year's mayhem that resulted in 500 arrests and the seizure of 105 guns, along with two fatal shootings. Probably. Yes, all of my kiddos are on spring break this week. So in our family, that means all the appointments that we need to get done, we're getting done. So I have like doctors and dentist and kiddo appointments out the yin yang and try to do something fun while, doing all of those. Photos show some arrests made Friday as droves of scantily clad men and women raged for hours of rampant partying during the day and night. Oh, good night, nurse. Well, they are definitely scantily clad and showing their behinds. Their parents are so proud. Uh, in preparation for the annual celebration, Governor Ron DeSantis dispatched at least 140 state troopers to the locale, along with drones and license plate readers to proactively curb violence. DeSantis vowed to crack down on crime for the event. We welcome people to come and have a good time. What we don't welcome is criminal activity, DeSantis warned. What we don't welcome is mayhem and people who want to wreak havoc on our communities. Oh, well, isn't that special? I feel like I need church lady here just everywhere for spring break. Last month, the city announced a messaging campaign that is breaking up with spring break. In a video for the campaign, a woman warned this March you can expect things like curfew, bag checks, and restricted beach access, DUI checkpoints, $100 parking, and strong police enforcement for drug possession and violence. Oh, what is that? That's ow. Well, I guess she paid for them, so there you go. This In a statement to the Post, Miami police say the situation was managed effectively and officers were able to keep the crowd under control. While some arrests were made during the evening, we can confirm that all incidents were handled efficiently and in a controlled manner by our law enforcement personnel. Why must every woman show off their behind? Is this just is this our new, like, instead of a handshake, you just put your butt out? Because I refuse. The city experienced 3 years in a row of violence during the co-ed bash that inevitably descended into anarchy, but not the fun anarchy. In nearby Fort Lauderdale, roughly 10 quote unquote isolated spring break related arrests have been made from March 4th to March 12th in incidents involving disorderly conduct, drugs, theft, battery of law enforcement, according to Fort Lauderdale police spokesperson Casey Lanning. Our spring break crowds have been as expected so far this year, with this week being the busiest week we're anticipating. Uh, Lenning said. Lenning also added that there haven't been any major disturbances or issues that would have forced mass arrests. So there you go. Yeah, it's just chesticles and buttular areas just all over. I guess if you want to see all those, go to spring break in Florida. I have a pair at home, so I really don't see the need, but I'm not a dude also. In sadder news, David Brashears, mountaineer and filmmaker who co-produced Mount Everest documentary, has passed away at 68. David Brashears, hopefully I'm saying that right, a mountaineer and author and filmmaker who co-directed and co-produced the 1998 IMAX documentary about climbing Mount Everest, has died, his business manager confirmed Saturday. He was 68. Brashears was found unresponsive at his home in Marblehead, Massachusetts on Thursday. Ellen Gulbranson said he had died of natural causes, but the exact cause of death is unknown at this time. Brashears summited Mount Everest 5 times, including with the IMAX camera in 1996, his family said. Quote, he combined his passion for climbing and photography to become one of the world's most admired adventure filmmakers, the family said in a written statement. In 2007, Brashears co founded Glacier Works, which describes itself on Facebook as a nonprofit organization that highlights changes to the Himalayan glaciers through arts, science, and adventure. With Glacier Works, he used his climbing and photography experience to create unique records revealing the dramatic effects of climate change on the historic mountain range, his family said. In 1983, Brashears transmitted the first live television pictures from the summit of Everest. According to his website, which also says in 1985, he became the first U.S. citizen to reach the summit twice. Let's see. Brashears and his team were filming the Everest documentary when the May 2000 or May 10th, 1996, blizzard struck the mountain, killing 8 climbers. He and his team stopped filming to help the climbers. So he seems like an all in all good guy. And I remember seeing that IMAX film, I think on a school trip. To be fair, IMAX films give me all the nausea. So I was not a big fan of it, but it was very beautiful, the parts that I looked at, and I'm not a fan of heights. But I do he did a really good job. It was really pretty, the parts that I saw. So I am not um it is sad that he passed away, and I hope his family gets all the support they need because even if it was natural causes and, just one of those things that happened, it's still such a hard thing to deal with when you lose a family member. In hilarious news, Oklahoma police pull over a toddler driving a hot pink convertible because thank you, Casey, for becoming a new member. Let me write that down. Yes, every new member or super chat goes on to my board of see if I can show you all. See if I remember directions. That is not so it's my string board of crazy. I need to make another, but every one of those goes on there, and as you can see, I need to make another one soon and get some more red yarn because my cats have destroyed my red yarn because of course they have. But thank you for becoming a new member. Every once in a while, there's a cute little story involving police, a neighbor, a dog, etc., and a small child, which absolutely takes the internet by storm. Just such a story broke recently in o- Okarchi? Oarchi? For the love of goodness, Oklahoma, Kansas, y'all need to stop with these names. Those of us who can't read phonetically and are terrible at spelling cannot understand this. And then let me see. That was Sarah. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, I have read it. This weekend was all about moving stuff. And Debbie W., thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Let me get those. And those went to Sophia Starlin, uh, Nunya Business, Velu 87, Haley Wolf, and Sadie. So let me get those written down because I can't do 2 things at one time. I like the last names or the name Starlin. That's awesome. I always love Nunya Business, though. You guys come up with such creative names for your names or your YouTube names, and I'm always like, "Why didn't I think of that?" Mostly because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I have my great ideas about 5 minutes after. I don't know if you're the type of person that thinks of an argument about 5 years ago, and then you're like, "I should have said this. It would have been great if I had said this." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's that's exactly what I need to be thinking about at 3:30 in the morning." And then thank you, Fraude Editor, for gifting a membership, and that went to DG1. So let me get that. You guys are being super generous today, and I'm trying to keep up. Everyone's joining the House of Mo. I will get, uh, my, what is it? My religion exemption card and be a tax deductible thing very soon. And that went to, Shenanagram Yell Rock still. and I need to buy more tags. If you can believe it, I'm almost out. So that is so awesome. And then Casey gifted 1 membership. Thank you so much. Well, that and Fry like to eat the cards. I don't know if they were in a factory next to, dog food or something, but he loved the taste of these cards. All right. Back to the story. Thank you all so much that gifted memberships. And Slinky, you've been a member for 3 months. And yes, I am so incredibly humbled that people like DUI Guy and Megan Fox shared my content. It's it's very encouraging when, bigger creators think that your stuff is, kinda good. So that is awesome, and I hope that you guys continue to like my stuff. Judge Mo is almost ready to go. I just need to order a couple more things. So, Mad Money Infusion incoming. All right. Uh, in Oklahoma, of all places, after a 2-year-old girl was pulled over by police as she drove down the road in her hot pink convertible Power Wheels. The issue at hand was distracted driving, the side effects of which any reasonable person who's been on the road in the last decade has experienced firsthand, or at least the issue of people on the internet have invented since little Rose Fern, which is quite the name, was chewing on a toothbrush while driving, thus dividing her attention, keeping both hands off the wheel at the time. We were just no hands on the wheel driving. That's how we that's how we drive. But the police say the problem was Rose was exceeding the speed limit. We don't know what kind of speed limits they have, but we have no idea a Power Wheels could drive so fast. Anyway, the officer in the footage spoke with Rose and gave her a warning, quote unquote, with the police department's Facebook page, which apparently is run by the chief, saying her cuteness helped Rose escape without a citation. The police say that this sort of thing never happens during a traffic stop. We're just wondering if little Rose Fern presented a valid driver's license, registration, and insurance, or if she claimed sovereign citizenship. She's like, "This is my Lambo. Don't you I am a citizen this uh, of this nation. This is my land boat. This is not a maritime court. You have no authority over me." She just went full on Cheryl from or Charlene from Archer, and she's like, "You're not my supervisor." According to police, this story has been covered all over the place, even around the world, making a great example of community policing and the impact it makes. It also proves the power of impactful visuals. Yes, but do you at least keep one hand on the steering wheel? I think the fact that she had no hands on the steering wheel. But if your town is so safe that you need to pull over toddlers, I mean, it's a cute story, but eh. In other news about another little girl, and kind of just something that everyone should be aware of, my daughter eats plaster, foam, and wool. What we've learned about her unusual uh, Oklahoma, only 2 things come out of Oklahoma, stairs and pink Barbie cars. Which one are you? I don't see any pink Barbie cars coming out your head. Yes. Let's see. A Welsh mom of 2 says she has to constantly monitor her 3-year-old daughter to stop her from munching on potentially dangerous items around the house. Winter was diagnosed with autism, condition that sparks an unusual condition that sparks cravings for inedible objects. Quote, "She was literally eating the whole house," Stacy Aherne said, to SWNS. "I brought a brand new sofa and she's taken chunks out of it." Stacy said she caught Winter eating plaster off the walls, foam from her sofa, wool from her toys, plants, and candle wax. Most terrifyingly, she watched the preschoolers smash photo frames and attempt to eat the shards of glass. Stacy said she'll put Winter in a high chair with snacks, but she'll choose to eat the chair. She's really fussy with normal food, but she'll sit and eat a sponge, said Stacy from Blackwood, Wales. She's smashed about 8 photo frames and tried to eat the glass. No matter what, she finds a way to eat things she shouldn't. Stacy noticed Winter putting things in her mouth as a baby and didn't think it was anything serious. She was hitting the usual milestones like walking and talking until around 13 months old when things changed, quote unquote, overnight. Winter became nonverbal and her unusual eating habits began to escalate. Stacy said her daughter was diagnosed with an eating disorder called pica, which can be found in 18.5% of children. One study determined that it's most prevalent in 3-year-olds and becomes less common as children age. So, if you have a kiddo that's doing some of this, maybe take them to a doctor. So, look, I have no answers. None of my kiddos had this, but it is something to be on the lookout for if your kids start eating random stuff. In January, after further tests, Winter was also diagnosed with autism. Pica can be more common in children who have autism, which Winter has too, Stacy explained. I think it's a sensory thing. She craves the different texture. She has very severe autism, which means she doesn't speak much and has some behavioral issues. Stacy, who's also a mom of 1-year-old Everly, says Winter often awakes at night, and that's when her pica really comes out to play. She wakes up at 2 a.m., and I found her eating the cot and blankets, Stacy shared. It's exhausting to have eyes on her 24/7, but I've got it into a good routine and I understand her needs. Stacy said she's found providing sensory playtime has helped distract Winter from her cravings. Sorry, let me. Uh, Children with autism like sensory things they can touch or sounds, Stacy said. I've got a chewable necklace for her specifically designed for people with pica that she can chew on with different textures. Uh, Stacy says Winter also likes to eat, touch, and play with different shaped pasta. The doctor said there's not much we can do, Stacy sighed. It's not good for her, but it's not extremely dangerous as long as it's not glass. Stacy is hoping Winter will eventually grow out of the condition. Adults can have pica, which can be found in 10% of the world of people with mental health conditions. For her part, Stacy is raising both daughters with her partner and their dad, Ryan, 30, who does not live with them. Luckily, she's never really hurt herself as I very closely monitor her, Stacy said of Winter, but is a full-time job watching her. So, just I am very sorry. That is my mother had difficulties with, really restrictive eating. And then I kind of had some really unhealthy relationship with food. So I am trying desperately to raise my daughters to not have any weird um, relationship with food. So I try not to make things weird or restrict things or try to, influence them because It's it's really something I wanna try to stop the generational cycle of, but it's not easy, and so I will say good on this mom for trying to address her daughter's needs by getting the necklace and stuff, but I just thought there could be more awareness, that some parents are definitely, um, dealing with sometimes. No worries. Oh, thank you. No, that is That is awesome possum. Thank you so much for promoting me, and I need to catch one of your live streams. Like I said, this weekend was kind of a blur, just moving things and running all around to try to get my temporary office sort of in order. But I am going to try to catch a stream. That is awesome. Thank you so much. And Flash fan, I am doing awesome. I hope you are doing great too. In what the actual hell was wrong with this cop? Look, I get that this cop just saw that this man had incredibly graphically unalived his 3 children, but he fluffed up the Miranda rights, which means that the confession that he gave of doing this was tossed out. Judge tosses confession of a man who allegedly unalived his 3 young sons in front of wife and daughter. The court threw out the confession of an Ohio father who allegedly unalived his 3 young sons in front of his wife and daughter. Through Though Claremont County Sheriff's investigators did not coerce the defendant, Chad Christopher Dorman, 32, into confessing during an interrogation, Detective Michael Ross did fail to properly advise him of his Miranda rights. Yeah, I need to watch the hearing. I definitely think that, that's something I wanna cover this week since I have a little more time with all the kiddos being home. I wanna cover this because I am so pissed off I can't even see straight about this, and I hate covering trials with not alive children people because those are so hard. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, if you're just a normal human being, it is hard to watch those trials, but the fact that this happened, I just can't. And should have stopped asking questions once Dorman asked for a lawyer. "I'll wait for a lawyer," the defendant said, according to the documents. "I don't know, give me a couple days. I can talk to a lawyer and get nice, good answers." Judge Richard P. Frenrick tossed everything from the in-office interrogation. Dorman allegedly shot his sons, Clayton 7, Hunter 4, and Chase 3, at their home June 15th, 2023. The facts, as the prosecution initially explained them, are that Dorman lined his sons up, ages 3, 4, and 7, and executed them with a rifle, even hunting one of the boys down at the Laurel Lindell Road property. The defendant appeared cordial to law enforcement who arrived at the scene, even advising them how to approach the barking dog safely. A woman yelled out. Authorities say Dorman had shot her in the hand. "You took my life from me, my life," she said. The boy's sister had reportedly fled during their father's rampage. "Can I stand up?" Dorman asked the officer from the grass. "Is kind of uncomfortable." Body footage later showed him banging his head against the wall during his jail booking. He was indicted for 9 counts of aggravated murder, each with 3 capital aggravating circumstances, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 counts of felonious assault. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Ultimately, the defense got what they wanted by cutting out the confession, though Frenrick looked dimly on their other arguments. For example, they determined that Dorman's statements to the investigators were voluntary and not coerced. He also voiced doubt that Dorman, while contained in a cruiser, overheard an investigator identified in the documents as Detective Schubert say to another official, "Is that the MFer?" I mean, at this point, look, the officer that I've seen the footage of him getting arrested and said, "You have the right to remain, silent," or the effing right to remain silent or something. He dropped an expletive. That officer was all of us. I just ugh. "Yeah," said the other official. "Shut the door so I don't effing unalive him," Schubert said. Dorman was in the cruiser with air conditioner on while Schubert was 6 to 7 feet from the vehicle said the comment to another official and didn't address it to the defendant, the judge wrote. The statement was caught on body cam, and Dorman showed no sign of recognizing Schubert later in the interrogation, the court determined. I mean, that's every human being. You come across a scene where innocence is slaughtered and you want to take care of business. That is not, I, I I mean, speaking as Judge Moe, I would be like, and your point being, doesn't everyone feel like that? But I will be watching that hearing, probably not today or tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday. I think I have a day without appointments on Wednesday. Just I can't. I cannot. In happier news, a 9-year-old quote unquote bug expert discovers and captures a super rare pink grasshopper. A little bit of luck jumped out at a young bug expert. A 9-year-old Arkansas girl, an aspiring vet, discovered and captured a unique pink grasshopper so rare that there's only a 1% chance of spotting the insect. Madeline Landecker made the super rare find while walking to her family barn at her Benton home last Thursday and immediately knew the odd colored bug was a specimen from a book she had read when she was younger, according to KARK. Quote, when I was littler, I saw one in a book, Madeline told the local station. I thought it would be cool to have. Though the pink grasshopper, which was missing a leg, tried to get away, she scooped it up in a few seconds and named it Millie, according to the station. She did keep it and name it. It's named Millie. Known by her classmates as the bug expert for the way she studies and takes note of the different creepy crawlers, Madeline brought the grasshopper to school on Friday to show it off. Everybody thought it was awesome. The teachers were taking pictures, she told KARK. Madeline, who wants to be a veterinarian when she's older, already has 9 chickens, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a rabbit. She sells eggs from the chickens in a little stand she runs at the end of her family's driveway. That is so cute. I mean, look at this little girl's spirit. I know we were talking on Shizzies about how some kids aren't willing to put in, you know, work and stuff, but this little girl is, raising chickens. She is doing research from when she was littler. I'm surprised Zach isn't having conniption fits on the floor from that grammar, but it's just awesome. Uh, she suspects one her collection of animals is why the grasshopper is missing a leg. I think one of the chickens had got it, said Madeline, who turned 10 on St. Patrick's Day. This little girl is ambitious and, taking notes and learning things, selling eggs. She likes bugs. This is just great. In the Mondayest Monday of all Mondays news, I guess, or it would happen to me. My heart stopped, then the paramedic treating me had a heart attack. Oh my gosh. Uh, a UK woman has reunited with the emergency responder who collapsed from a heart attack in her living room while treating her for cardiac arrest. What are Daisy Devane, 31, lost consciousness on the sofa at her Bedfordshire home in June 2022. Her partner, Iman, 33, performed CPR on her before the East of England Ambulance Service Trust crew arrived. Senior emergency medical technician Jeremy Williams, 55, was timing her chest compressions when he suddenly felt excruciating pain in his chest. I've come off a motorbike at high speed, so I know what pain is, but I've never felt anything like I did on that day, Williams recalled to SWNS. His teammates quickly realized what was happening. Some continued to shock Devane, while others turned their attention to Williams to give him an electrocardiogram. Turns out he was having a heart attack. The team worked side by side to manage both patients and transfer them to separate hospitals. William was taken to Lister Hospital in Hertfordshire, while Devane was transported to Bedford Hospital in Bedfordshire. Jeremy's heart rate and blood pressure dropped dramatically while we were on the way to the hospital. At one point, I thought he was going into cardiac arrest, said John Whittington, an advanced paramedic who oversaw the dual care. Williams underwent emergency surgery to have two stents fitted to unblock arteries around his heart. Meanwhile, Devane spent 33 days in the hospital. She doesn't remember the episode, as she has lost 3 weeks worth of memory, but noted she is so grateful to Williams and the other responders. She met with Williams in February 2023 and reunited with him last month, saying she wished she had done it sooner. I heard about Jeremy after. I'm so grateful to him and grateful he was okay, said Devane, an area safety manager and first aid trainer. You can't make it up. He saved my life. Devane said, Iman, look, I am not sure how you say this name. Emion, a store manager, found her on the sofa unresponsive and not breathing. He happened to be homesick that day with a coof. He did chest compressions for not or for 12 minutes before paramedics arrived, and let me tell you, that is hard work. That is amazing because you the rate you have to do chest compressions and everything, I mean, good on him. They were working on me for 50 minutes, Devane said. I had 5 shocks before they were able to successfully um, it's what I say for that virus of unknown origin and unspecified, nature that, we all had to live through and be locked in our houses for. YouTube doesn't generally like when we talk about it. I get that blue box of, spreading true information if I say the name, so I just call it the "coof," if you will. Let's see, Williams said he was on the scene for 10 minutes when he abruptly didn't feel well. It was one of those things which never ever happens, Williams said. I can laugh about it now because I'm glad to be here, but if it hadn't been for my colleagues, it would have been a very different story. They even had a light up love sign at their wedding, and she looks beautiful and he looks so happy. Whittington said it was a sweaty, intense shift he will never forget. He shared that within just 40 minutes of treatment, Williams was a completely different person. When we arrived, he looked like he was about to die, but after surgery, it was like he had just come home from a holiday, Whittington said. I've been on this job for 22 years and I've never heard of anything like this happening before. I really hope it never happens again, Whittington continued. For her part, Devane was fitted with a subcutaneous implantable cardioverter defibrillator, which shocks her heart. I'm guessing that's just like a little, you know, oh gosh, why am I having such trouble with words today? A pacemaker, but they have to make it, 973 words. She ended up marrying her boyfriend, whom she met in 2014 in an emotional July 2023 ceremony. Devane had taught him CPR. His bosses had also sent him on a first aid course. I felt very lucky to have done the first aid course. CPR is a skill everyone should know, Devane added. It's a skill you never want to have to use, but if you do, you are very grateful to have it. Oh, squid pro quo. Thank you for the difference. I did not know there was difference, but that makes sense. If her heart did get out of rhythm or had to be shocked, I could see that there would be a different. medicine is all about the different stuff that I never knew. I In a headline that makes my inner Cartman just so happy, a Danish hippie oasis has fought drug sales for years. Now locals want to tear up the whole street. Look, generally, I love hippies and free spirits. It's the smell of patchouli that I just cannot get over. It is a smell of patchouli that just drives me nuts. If we could remove that, I would be totally okay with hippies. It's that patchouli smell that I'm like, "Mm, hard pass." And the strong incense smell. But it is, so the fact that her husband well, her now husband did it for, 12 minutes, just so awesome. I cannot believe it. Copenhagen, Denmark. The inhabitants of Copenhagen's free-willing Christiana neighborhood plan to dig up the aptly named Pusher Street in their latest attempt to stop illegal hashish sales. I'm glad I'm not the only one. This picture is a Where's Waldo for Baker. Yeah, we might see Baker here. Let's see. In their latest attempt to stop illegal hashish sales, which have led to deadly gang turf wars and sometimes violent confrontations with the police. Residents of the hippie enclave are calling for volunteers to help dig up the street on April 6th. The Berkingsley Look, some Danish word that Baker could say, newspaper wrote on Thursday. All are welcome and participants can take home one of the cobblestones as a souvenir. Baker, you better send me a cobblestone. That's all I'm saying. I want you there. I want you digging, and I would like a cobblestone. My unrelenting hatred of patchouli oil is coming through, and I would like like a cobblestone. It is unclear yet what will replace the street. Ah, Berklingsky. Thank you, Mass. I have an expert on all things Danish. The residents are fighting to preserve Christiana's reputation as a freewheeling society made up of political idealists and aging hippies. For years, hash has been sold openly in Christiana from roadside stalls among buildings painted in psychedelic colors, but inhabitants say that feuding gangs, not them, control the trade, and the survival of their community hinges on ending it. The neighborhood has been a world apart from the rest of Copenhagen since 1973, when hippies squatted at a derelict naval base and set up a community dedicated to flower power ideals popular at the time: free cannabis, limited government influence, no cars, and no police. After more than 4 decades of locking horns with authorities, they were given control over their homes when the state sold the 84-acre or 24 hectare enclave for 85.4 million kroner or 12.5 million to a foundation owned by its inhabitants. There were nearly 700 adults and about 150 children living in the community today, and it's one of the Danish capital's biggest tourist attraction. The Christianites have made several attempts to close the hashish market in the roughly 100-meter or 328-foot long street. Police say the trade, worth millions, is controlled by the Hells Angels and the outlawed Loyal to Family gang group, I guess. I've never heard of Loyal to Family. I have heard of Hells Angels. Authorities tolerated hashish sales in Christiana until 2004 when police started to crack down. To preempt police raids, residents took down hashish booths, but trading soon came back. Last year, they brought in heavy machinery to tear down the market, but masked men stopped them. In the past month, Christiana has worked with local authorities to make a plan that includes ending the drug trade and replacing it with other activities. Cornhole? Cornhole. I'm guessing cornhole is gonna be big in Denmark. You'll learn to love it. It's a great game, you can get drunk while doing it. Like most sports, it's pretty fun. Y'all will learn to love it. You'll have, The Social and Housing Ministry said it was, quote, "an important prerequisite to get rid of the organized hashish trade before Christiana can get the 14.3 million kroner or 2.1 million earmarked for the work." A 30-year-old man who was selling drugs and was shot and killed, and 4 others were injured in August. In 2022, a man selling hashish from one of the street booths was also shot. The previous year, a man was shot and killed at the entrance to the same street. Last year, Mayor of Copenhagen urged foreigners to not buy hashish there because of the deadly shootings. Sarah, I love you. I just hope you don't use patchouli like deodorants. That's all I ask. I just ask that I don't smell patchouli like 15 minutes before one enters a room. It's so hopefully Baker can send me a cobblestone because I would love to be part of fighting patchouli. I'm just kidding. In best friends ride or die, you know what? You know you have a ride or die friend when they're cycling with you, first of all, because if anyone is willing to join you in a sport that requires spandex to wear, which I find ridiculous, but also 5 cyclists fought off a wild cougar with rocks and sticks for 45 minutes to save their friend's life. So, ride or die friends right there. Like, they need all the muffin baskets. A group of cyclists in their 50s and 60s battled with a cougar for 45 minutes after the mountain cat launched at one of their friends and clamped down on her face during a team ride on a vast Washington state trail last month. 5 cyclists recalled the harrowing struggle to pry the beast off their friend using just rocks and sticks and their hands during the February 17th attack on the trail of the northeast of Falls City, according to a recent report. Friends, all a part of the competitive Recycled Cycles racing team, were 19 miles into their biking trip when the wild animal lunged at 60-year-old Carrie uh, Burgery and tackled her into a shallow ditch off of the trail with the cougar teeth biting her jaw. Quote, "I thought my teeth were coming loose. I was gonna swallow my teeth." Uh, Burgray told KUOW in an interview published Thursday. "I could feel bones crushing and I could feel it tearing back. I felt like it was suffocating me. Yes, that's how cougars attack. They suffocate their prey. But yes, unfortunately, that is what they do." Her friends quickly rallied to her defense, using sticks, rocks to try to get the male cougar to loosens it loosen its grip on their friend, whose face was forced to the ground. One cyclist grabbed or stabbed the cat with a small knife. Another, Anna Biliota, 64, attempted to choke the vicious creature. That was like choking a rock, Annie told KUOW. "It did absolutely nothing. Then she tried to pry the cougar's jaw with her hand. I felt it shifting its teeth like it wanted to try to bite me too," Annie said. "I said, 'No, you're not gonna get both of us.'" Uh, Anya Teets, 59, dropped a 25-pound rock on the cougar's head multiple times, trying to avoid hitting her friend, who was still trapped by the cougar, tried to jab her fingers up the animal's nostrils and into his eyes. Finally, after 15 minutes, the animal let up and their friend was able to crawl away. Tish Williams, 59, grabbed the $6,000 bike of 51-year-old Erica Wolf. The group used it to pin down the puma for 30 minutes before the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Police arrived and shot the creature between the shoulder blades, the outlet reported. All these ladies came up with superhuman strength, said Bergeret, who was hospitalized in stable condition but had noticeable facial injuries. They're teeny ladies, and I know that Fish and Wildlife shot the final kill shot, but these ladies killed that cougar with their bare hands and no weapons. She also said, I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of them. The male cougar was about 1 year old and weighed roughly 75 pounds, the state fish and wildlife official said. The animal did not have rabies or any significant disease or issues that would lead to aggressive behavior. No, it simply saw, movement and attacked. And unfortunately, it attacked like cougars do. They go for the neck or the face. I mean, that's how lions kill, they suffocate, unfortunately. In our final story, because I will have to run, and I love these kind, the 10 kinkiest state revealed by sexperts or sex experts. Is yours horny enough? Probably not. Indiana is probably not, or maybe we're all closeted freaky flag flyers. Who knows? Who's getting naughty? Sex experts, or I like to call them sexologists, have revealed the kinkiest states in the US. Georgia topped the list. Fanny, I knew you were going to get top of the list somewhere. According to Bed Bible, a sex toy and sexual wellness company, which ranked all 50 states based on the number of searches for kinky toys in each one. Georgia Peaches had an average monthly search volume of 521 per 100,000 residents, according to Daily Mail. Next was Nevada with a average monthly search volume of 509 per 100,000 residents, and naughty New Yorkers came a close third with 508 per 100,000 residents. Those results align with a previous study that found Las Vegas and New York City among the kinkiest destinations around the globe. While NYC ranked third, it also got points for having some of the world's most sensual menus, as the city is full of champagne and oyster restaurants. This comes nearly a decade after Pornhub claimed New York was among one of the least kinky states, with residents sticking to basic forms of prawn. Back in 2013, New Yorkers searched for vanilla terms, including college and massage. People in the busy Big Apple said folks in the city that never sleeps may simply not have any energy left after long work days to be crazy in the bedroom. According to Bed Bible's new research, Texas was the fourth kinkiest state with 498 monthly searches per 100,000, while North Carolina and Colorado tied for fifth place with 494 searches per 100,000. The Golden State was ranked sixth, and as Californians had 488 searches, and Washington State was seventh with 484 searches. Utah and Illinois, Utah, I always knew that they're all looking for that storm, if you will. Look, I heard Vice's read, Chad Daybell's storm stuff. I know. For with 479 searches each. Maryland finished in ninth place with 473 searches, and Massachusetts closed out the list with 462 queries. Look, I don't think Florida has to go online for anything kinky. I think they just go down the street and then we find it on news reports. I have no idea. I think these are dumb metrics to test it. I think we should just see how many people get arrested for doing it outside, and then I think it would be Florida, to be honest. I think Florida would win every time, so I think that's why they don't do that. But that those are the stories. Beware of mountain lions and always stay packing. If just one of those women had stayed packing, but I don't know Washington State's gun laws, so that might be it. And I will see you guys tonight, for Nightly Newsy News, and then I will be on with Shizzy later on after that. So I will see you then. I might pop on, early this afternoon. Maybe I will do the hearing this afternoon because after, I have 2 appointments today, but after that, I should be free, so who knows? We might have something, we might not, it'll all depend. Have a wonderful day. Say something kind to yourself. That mean little voice can be super loud sometimes. Fight it with saying something nice to yourself, and then say something kind to someone else. A compliment is a great way for introverts to kind of people, if you will. It's my secret weapon because I am not a great peopler outside in the real world. I'm trying to get better, but that is my secret weapon. I try compliments and I try to compliment as many people as I can throughout the day because you never know. That might be the first kind thing someone's heard in a long, long time. Have a great day, you guys, and I will see you later. Bye.